Okay, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Brothers and Boss Battles, a video game showdown. Today we're starting a new category, one in which we will be talking about games that have vehicles but are not racing games. And the first of this category is Twisted Metal Black. Pete, why don't you give us your initial thoughts on this game?
The Twisted Metal franchise, I think, is near and dear to the brothers' hearts. I remember we got Twisted Metal 2 the same Christmas we got our PlayStation, and I don't know, in a lot of ways for me, I kind of consider that game as my personal sort of gateway into modern gaming, if you want to classify the PlayStation generation as modern gaming, I don't know. But even Twisted Metal 3 and 4, which a lot of people didn't really like, I remember us playing a lot and having a lot of fun playing multiplayer, couch competitive. But anyway, so that all culminated into Twisted Metal Black, which is considered by most, and by me, to be the best game in the franchise. We didn't play multiplayer much. Like, there's a reason or two for that, but single player and even the two-player co-op is really fun, and the characters are cool, so I don't know, I have a difficult time grasping the popularity of the Twisted Metal franchise, honestly. So I don't know how much or how many of our listeners are that familiar with the game or not, but if you're not familiar with it, you're going to want to stick around to hear all about Twisted Metal Black.
All right, Tom, what about you? Initial thoughts?
Yeah, I won't belabor the point. A lot of what Pete said there is something or things that I would also say about the franchise. Yeah, we have a lot of experience with this one, and I think Twisted Metal Black was probably like the real kind of crowning achievement of the series. So I'm glad we're talking about that one today.
Yeah, and I'll just say that this really is a good game, probably the best in the Twisted Metal series, a series that was much beloved but has since gone away for reasons we cannot determine. But we are excited to talk about this one. We'll let you know our experience with it, but needless to say, we all kind of like this game, and we hope you'll stick around for the episode and hopefully check out the game yourself. All right, so Twisted Metal Black was initially released on June 19th, 2001 in North America, developed by Incognito Entertainment and published by Sony Computer Entertainment for the PlayStation 2, then became available on the subsequent iterations of the PlayStation as well, and it's most recently on the PlayStation Store and available on PS Plus for your playing needs. Just before we get started, for those that don't know, Brothers and Boss Battles, the video game showdown, is our podcast here where me, Anthony, and my brothers, Pete and Tom, discuss video games. We pick a category or genre of video games, each pick a game within that genre or category, and discuss those games for the first 3 weeks of a particular grouping. We talk about the gameplay, story, controls, effect on the gaming world, and more. The fourth episode of that grouping is our Bro Down episode, because we're brothers, where we will each choose a game and have a courtroom-style debate.
Love that. Love that courtroom-style debate.
Each defending the game that we chose and attacking the others, and ultimately declaring a winner. All right, let's get going on Twisted Metal Black. This was a big one in our youth.
Yeah, and actually, when we conceived of the idea of the podcast, this was kind of one of the games I envisioned us covering.
Yeah. And we were like, how do we fit this into a category? We were like, games with vehicles that you don't race. And that was this. So for those that don't know, Twisted Metal Black is a car combat game where you're in vehicles and you're looking to blow each other up and essentially be the last car standing. And each car has a driver as well. And so we could say last man or woman standing. It doesn't necessarily have to be the car, but the cars all have special moves, and you pick up weapons and all of that, and special designs, their own unique designs. So that's what part and parcel what makes this game cool. we kind of already we usually go through our experience with the game, and we kind of already did in the intros where we got this for PlayStation 2 when it came out. Pete, I think you had said PlayStation, but it really was PlayStation 2.
Yeah, no, this was
Oh,
PlayStation 2. I was talking
oh,
about Twisted Metal 2.
2, right, right. That was the PlayStation, right. So this was, I believe, the first one not on PlayStation, or the first iteration of PlayStation. I believe 3 and 4 were also for the first PlayStation, and then Twisted Metal
That's
Black.
right.
Yeah, Twisted Metal Black was the initial one on PlayStation 2. So, there was a jump in graphics and all of that as well with this game. We've since replayed it a little bit. I've been playing on my PlayStation 5, but it's a port of this game.
I've also been playing that version.
I played that version on the PS4.
Yeah, I think it's just a really cool, unique game. I mean, I know there are other car combat games, but none that really, I think, reach this sort of level. It's cool. The characters are really cool, which I think is good in any game where you have a whole band of characters to choose from, and that's what's really unique here. Especially not only the looks, not only some of the special moves, but the stats of each car, which is interesting because it gives you the opportunity to play as maybe out of your comfort zone. Like maybe you like the really strongly armored cars that are not that fast, but you can turn around and play with one of the really quick cars that doesn't have great armor but has great attack and great speed and great handling, and then that might be a challenge for you. But it presents a whole different way of playing, which is I think just part of the fun of the game.
Yeah, so a couple of things I noticed kind of right off the bat when I started to play it again. So one is you just mentioned kind of different challenges or whatever. The game was kind of hard, I
Yeah.
found, especially at first.
Yeah, I agree. When I started replaying the game again in preparation for this episode, I was playing Roadkill, who was probably the most balanced character or car in the game, in terms of like speed, defense, and special
And I think
attack power.
handling is another
Oh yeah,
category too. There's like four.
yeah,
I actually
Eh,
didn't
eh,
care for Roadkill, but we'll get into that later.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Well, I thought I thought it was cool, or he was cool, but the car. I don't know if we're talking about the car over the person, but anyway. Um, but yeah, I found that even with a balanced car, I was having a difficult time at first.
yeah, it's not an easy game, and I believe there is three difficulties.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I've been playing on the mid one, and it's
Me
not
too.
easy. But what's good about this game that I like is that after you beat a level, they let you save. So it's not like you have to run through. I believe there's 8 stages. You don't have to run through the whole game with one life or
Yeah.
even just three. I think that makes it a little bit more possible because one thing about the maps is you start learning where the pickups, the weapon pickups are, and where the health pickups are. Even more importantly, and that can, learning the maps becomes part of the gameplay as well, not just shooting stuff.
Oh yeah, it was critical to kind of know where the health was and where the those healing stations were, and even where just different weapon pickups were, different secret kind of places where you can kind of hide a little bit.
Mm. I never found the hiding really possible, but yeah, the health and those healing electrical station things were.
Yeah.
I always made sure to look out for those. And there were certainly stages that were harder than others.
Oh, definitely.
Some of which you had to play, and we'll get into that because I think that's an important part of the discussion. And also what was cool is that they, for some levels, once you beat one, they let you pick the next one you go to. So it the downside of that is that one may always pick the same levels because you get familiar with it and it doesn't really randomize or change at all. So you know where everything is, and you may not get a chance to experience the other levels. But you could also just tell yourself like, look, I'm going to go for the challenge this time around.
Yeah. There was instances where I kind of the options I kind of felt one was definitely easier for me, and I always wanted to do that. But I will say there was at least a fair amount of secrets and hidden things. Um, so, now playing this game so much after its release and with the internet and all that stuff, it's a little different. Like you don't need to discover anything, but for someone who's kind of playing naturally, and when it first came out, you would want to not only play all the levels, but you have these secrets aren't kind of easy to find, so you would have to kind of play them a lot and get familiar with it and try different things to try to unlock something.
Yeah,
So there is motivation to play the levels, even if it was more difficult.
right. Because there's 10, I believe you start out with 10, but then there's five unlockable characters. So that's, you know, a good incentive to continue
Yeah.
playing.
Oh yeah, and the characters are a cool part of the game.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, just so the listeners know, this is, like I said, or we said, basically a car combat game. The thrust and the fun of the game is blowing up these other cars and being the last car standing. But there is a bit of a story involved as well. And we'll give a spoiler alert, but this is really just the setup of the game. We're not really spoiling anything. You kind of get a glimpse of this right at the beginning. But there's this guy, Calypso, who essentially seems to be like the devil or some sort of demon. And he's put together this contest. And this has sort of been the story throughout much of the Twisted Metal games. He's just a twisted guy and putting this tournament together for these drivers in their cars to compete to the death. There's a little bit more of it's a little bit more nuanced than that, but I feel like they really did well with that nuance in the story in this game, because in this one they're all occupants, if you could call it that, of this asylum. They've all been convicted of doing something bad or deemed criminally insane or whatever. So they're all in this asylum. He essentially breaks them out and says, "Look, if they're all there for a reason, trauma in the past." He breaks them out, saying, essentially, if you compete in my competition and win, you'll get your wishes granted, kind of a thing. And all of their wishes have to do with what had brought them to the asylum in the first place. So it's a bit twisted and dark. I feel it fit well with that late 90s, early 2000s sort of theme in a lot of media and entertainment. But that's the thrust of the game. So there are little story snippets for each character after you beat each level or each main section that ultimately culminates in them winning the competition and then meeting Calypso and then getting their wish, quote unquote, granted. And it's sometimes it's like be careful what you wish for kind of a scenario at the end of a lot of these.
On that note, I liked how in this game it was a lot more serious and I don't know, I guess like the darker aspect of it, which is kind of goes hand in hand with serious. But I just think back to like some of the older Twisted Metal games, and a lot of them were kind of like goofy. The stories a little bit, and like their the reasons for the drivers entering the contest was just like silly.
Yeah.
This one, that wasn't really the case. I feel like they all had legitimate, desires. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
legitimate in the sense that like it's something that someone in their shoes would want,
Yeah, it wasn't
like, and would
Sweet
risk their
Tooth.
lives for. Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't Sweet Tooth wanting more candy, which was like one of the things I think in Twisted Metal 3 or 4.
Yeah. I will say
Well, that
though,
was yeah,
historically, kind of the shtick was that Calypso would kind of take their request literally or like twist their words a little and
yeah,
then, you know, give them something that they really didn't want. So I
yeah.
kind of missed that a little
yeah.
bit, but
No, but
No,
that's what it was. It was kind of like that in this game too.
no,
no,
not all the time.
Not
For
all the
some of
not a
time.
them,
lot.
yeah, not a lot. For some of them, I feel like he did screw them over, which was
Yeah,
interesting how he screwed some of the contestants and not all of them.
yeah.
Interesting.
I see. I don't remember. I had gone into this very ambitiously wanting to beat with all the characters, but like you mentioned, it is tricky. So I only this most recent. I think in the past I beat it with all the characters, or at least most. Um, this past playthrough that I've been doing for the last few weeks or month or whatever it's been, I only beat it with Roadkill. So I've only saw his ending. I did start and get to the same level with Mr. Grimm and Darkseid as well, which we'll talk about. So maybe if you guys remember their stories or we don't have to go into every single one, but
Yeah.
um,
But so you're not familiar with anyone's story other than Roadkill,
I
essentially?
mean, if I saw them, I probably would remember them from the past. Like I, all right, we'll get into this now. I mean, and we've talked about this, but I've always been in Twisted Metal a big fan of the heavily armored cars. I didn't care about speed. I didn't care about handling. I wanted good defense and acceptable specials or weaponry. So I'm sure I beat it with Outlaw is pretty strong, Warthog, maybe Junkyard Dog, Darkseid in the past. I can't say I remember their stories, but if I saw them, I probably would remember them. Um, but I don't think I ever beat it with like Mr. Grimm, who was one of the characters that I've tried this time and got to the prison level and then couldn't, beat it from there. I plan on continuing to try, but I just by the time I didn't beat it by the time of this recording.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the general idea that I also found the best armored cars to be easier to beat the game with. And one thing we didn't mention, it's kind of, I guess, supposed to be, every car for themselves, but really it's every car is just attacking you, basically.
Yeah, I definitely felt that way.
No, it's I think it's absolutely true.
It's by design. Yeah.
Are
Yeah,
you sure?
Yeah.
I mean, it does
yeah.
seem that way, but I'm being somewhat facetious because it's usually like 7 or 8 cars in a level. I mean, if 7 cars are attacking you at once, no one would ever win. I think they have. I think their AI isn't great, so it's like maybe you are correct, but they're not. If this was quote unquote real life and it was just like, okay, you seven blow up this one car, it would be very coordinated.
No, you're right. You're right. I
But
shouldn't imply that it's like that.
yeah, no, that's what I mean by the AI. Like, I mean, the
No,
AI in
I think
video games wasn't great by then,
they no,
or
I
whatever you
don't think
want to
it's like
call it.
that. I think they actually did a good job with it, where they made them drive around and not always be
Mm.
Right.
all 7 cars, on
Chasing
you
you, yeah.
at all times. But they didn't attack each other when they were off,
Yeah.
not
But
around you.
Sometimes maybe they just like because the other thing that can cause damage is if you like ram into a car. I mean, there have been times where I have not killed a car, so
not
clearly
a
they're
single car.
no, no, no.
Oh,
A
a
car. I mean,
one car.
if there was 8 in a match, I killed 6 out of 7, but
Yeah.
like one of them, maybe I
Yeah,
got down very
No, but
low, and then they smashed into another car and blew up. Like
yeah,
that, because
I think
that
that's
has definitely happened.
inadvertent, and
Yeah,
I've
maybe.
also seen like missiles that I think were intended for me
yeah,
Yeah,
basically get intercepted by someone
yeah.
else and kill them.
It is tough because, I mean, just to talk about it, that prison level where you start in a small area with 2 other cars, like even with these high armored cars, I'm not getting out of there with like, I mean, I'm losing a
You're losing
life
a
or
life.
coming very close to losing a life every single time.
Yeah,
yeah, coming close for sure.
yeah,
But then I guess the idea is if you can come close, then you can drive out and go up the ramp. There's a health, and then you go
Yeah,
down the other ramp. There's
it
another
is a
health,
health.
so you can
Yeah,
kind of like
and then I
that's what
usually
I
would
do
kind
every
of
time. That's
yeah. Well, that's the strategy, and there is strategy in the game. It's not just driving around shooting things.
no, well, that's what I said. That's why knowing the maps is so important in this game.
Yeah, 100%. But
uh,
in
one of,
that level, since we're on it, sorry, Tom. Like I would kind of stay up there and kind of camp there and wait for someone to come. If not, but then because then you still have to wait for the ship to dock in order to get access
Yeah.
to the healing station.
Right.
yeah.
I just yeah. I feel like just waiting around in that game is like a kiss of death, but maybe I gotta try it.
Yeah, it is important to be moving a lot, but I
Yeah.
think if you could find the right location to be camped out, then it works.
We're talking about that level. They also had kind of like a secret area,
Ooh,
not like super secret like you mentioned before, like where you unlock a character, but you could kind of like destroy that when you
Oh, the
go up.
bridge.
Yeah, there's like a part that leads to the bridge.
Yeah. If you
But
destroy
yeah,
like it looks almost like a toll booth, like a little
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Little
Yeah.
control station or something.
that
Right, or
opens up a lot of like I think 2 additional health pickups,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and also like some power missiles and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it also could lead you back to that top part of the where you're first locked in. So
Right. Where I
if
mentioned
those,
like camp out. Yeah.
yeah, if those
Yeah,
health
yeah.
things then came back, you could just easily access them. So yeah, that level of course is not one that you can choose the alternative. So you have to play that prison level. And obviously I beat it with Roadkill. With Mr. Grimm, I was having a little bit of trouble. It's a little bit annoying because my playthroughs with Mr. Grimm in that level, I've been down to one-on-one and have lost.
Oh, that
Which
hurts.
is like with
That's
Mr. Grimm,
rough.
that's supposed to be his strength, but yeah.
Yeah. Since you brought that up, I feel like
For those
probably
that don't
like
know, Mr. Grimm is extremely fast, extremely great handling, has a great special, but has the worst armor in the game.
yeah.
It's a guy on a motorcycle, so it's appropriate for the for his stats and his vehicle appearance and all of that, which is pretty cool. But to me, for someone like a player like me, I feel he's like the most difficult character to do well with. Sorry, Pete.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the most I think. No, but I felt like he was always the last car standing
Yeah.
when I had like, and he was like at like full health a lot of times. I don't know, like
Did you feel that? Because I felt this way that, like when you got towards the end of a match, they would like throw another car in.
spawn a car. Yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did. I
yeah,
did feel that. I felt like not all the cars were there.
yeah. Because there was
Not
Really?
always like
all.
there was always someone who I
With full
felt that
health?
like I never saw like
Yeah,
for
and
the
then he
whole
has full
match, and
health.
then he's yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
I
Well,
did
no,
feel
but they
that.
have the
And
same
a lot of
amount of.
times it was Mr. Grimm. I think the counter says 8 cars or
Yeah.
whatever, but there's actually he's not there. I really felt that way.
Oh, so you think it's like seven, six plus you, and then they throw in this one at the end?
Yeah, something like that.
Wow. I wonder
I
if
don't
there's
know.
any truth to that, conspiracy theorists.
But okay, so a lot of directions we could go.
Yeah, I
Since we were
know.
talking about this prison level, one of the keys, and this is leading to a more general and broader discussion, to surviving that initial part where you're in that closed space with the 2 other cars, is to use the abilities. Is that what they're called? Where you could like freeze cars, or you could
Yeah, I think they're called
turn
special moves, actually. But
special
whatever.
moves,
Yeah.
or you could turn invisible or invincible for a short period of time.
Yeah, there's the shield, which is essentially
Yeah,
invincibility for what, 5 seconds, maybe.
probably not even. Yeah.
Yeah. The invisibility and then the freeze, you could freeze them. My most used special ability has been the freeze.
me. That's basically the only one I've ever
Yeah.
used.
That and I
I
accidentally drop the mines, but
Yeah,
that's
the
just
mines. I
I'm
never
always
use the
accidentally
mines.
dropping. What?
I never use the mines. But
I never
I use
purposely
the
do.
shield. I use the shield a lot.
Mm.
The
That
freeze
one's
and the
definitely
shield.
helpful. Like if you have like a sweet tooth coming at you with a special to
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
or if there's kind
shield
of
you.
maybe 2 or 3 cars there ganging up on you.
Yeah, and you need to get away, or you're
Yeah.
like the other famous one for me is like I'm approaching the charging
Healing.
station, but
Yeah.
like perpendicular to it, so I have to now like make a turn, stop, and get on it. You
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
how
yeah.
many times right as I'm going up the ramp, I've gotten blown to smithereens. So it's if you could use the
Yeah.
shield there, it protects against that.
Yeah, and that was a little clunky.
Yeah, I mean it's still a PlayStation 2 game. Like and we could talk about the controls a little bit.
Yeah, so that was another thing I kind
I don't think
of
they're bad, but I don't remember how they were on the PlayStation 2, but they do have a few options on the port for the newer systems. So the one I've been using is called Gunner, which is essentially you accelerate and move using the D-pad. Uh, so and then you could break. I believe it X circle cycles through your missiles and stuff. X shoots it,
Oh no, I didn't use that
and
one.
square was your regular, machine gun kind of a thing.
No, that stinks. I
I didn't
cycled
use that
through it like I
either.
think R1 and L1 maybe, and then R2 shot the machine gun. But
Mhm. I don't know. There was
yeah,
something with that. I don't think I wanted to use the. Do you have to use the joystick for
yeah,
movement on that?
yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I
I
guess
think so.
it was.
Yeah, well, with the default control scheme, you have to use the left joystick to move.
to change
like
direction.
to like forward and back, and then the right joystick moves left and right,
Yeah.
right? Something like that.
It was something bad, something that I
Yeah, yeah,
couldn't get used to and didn't want to spend the time to learn it, so I was
yeah,
just
yeah.
going through
Same.
the other ones. So what do you use, Tom? So you don't use that or Gunner. So I think there was only three options, so I guess you use the other one. I don't know, I forget what it's called, but
I thought it was called run and gun, but if you're saying gunner, then I don't think that's right.
oh no, maybe what I use is running gun, but yeah, I don't think that.
Yeah, the control. Anyway, the controls you get used to them. I
Yeah,
think there's probably an optimal way that they didn't
yeah. I think if they could have just used the
use.
left stick to kind of like move in all directions, that would have been.
The three
No,
oh
no, but you need the ability to essentially rotate on an axis without like moving forward.
Do you?
Well, I guess you don't need that, but that would stink if they took that away
Like to just stay in place and then
and just
rotate?
rotate. Yeah, like to
When
turn
did you
left.
ever do that?
yeah, staying still in that game is very dangerous, I
Yeah.
feel. Very dangerous.
I don't know, just for an example, let's say you were perpendicular to the charging
Well, yeah,
station.
I guess
But
in that
yeah.
one instance. But if the controls didn't suck, you wouldn't be in that situation.
So
I don't
so
know.
the names of the three control schemes are classic, run and gun. So that was what I was saying, gunner, and control freak.
That one sounds good.
I think you may have actually been using Control
Yeah,
Freak.
maybe I'm using control freak. Yeah, I think you might be right because it's the control pad. Yeah, I'm using control freak. Yep.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
it's nice that they give you three options so you can use what's most comfortable to you.
Yeah, I feel like I mostly got used to it after,
A
an
short
hour or
time.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
No, it's I'm using run and gun. Yeah, that one you can use the control pads, the control pad to move to. I guess maybe you could use that or the joy
Yeah, but you shoot the
the
machine
stick.
guns with R2, don't you?
No, square, and
Oh,
that's what it
yeah,
says
that's
here.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, R2 is
You shoot the.
gas.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So now I'm using run and gun, i.e. gunner. So all right. So we talked about the controls a little bit. I think the graphics are cool. The music, there was a notable change from the prior games were sort of like very heavy metalish. This was more symphonic, but like dark symphonic kind of operatic music, and it gave it more of a imposing side sort of Doom-like kind of feel to the game too.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the music? I liked it. It fit. It did get a little redundant to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main theme, like in the menu,
Oh,
I
well,
felt, I felt, I felt
lest
like
we
it,
forget.
I felt like it looped very quickly.
Yeah, well,
I
it's
mean,
Oh yeah.
when you're just
it's
in the menu, but yeah,
it's
it
the
kind of
riff
reminded me.
to Painted Black of the Rolling Stones, so that's cool.
No, no.
No,
I mean,
not
I
on
mean,
like
like when you're
that.
in the menu.
Oh, the menu, not the. No, I thought you meant like the opening theme.
No,
No,
no. Yeah, but that yeah, obviously we have to mention that was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. But
Whatever
it's
they had a
literally only the riff.
I think when you beat the game
yeah.
and you watch the
Oh,
credits, it plays the actual song.
okay.
Actually, like we just got through our horror category. I just find the closing credits. It's like 3 minutes of that song, and then there's like the credits are scrolling, and then in the corner there's a little box of just a lot of the footage from the different cutscenes from the different stories, like with Painted Black playing. I don't think we actually said said the name of the song. I find that so like chilling any
Yeah.
more than the games that we had just covered. Honestly,
Yeah, I think they really kind of. It felt like a horror game at times, even with the music, like I was saying in the menu. It kind of sounds like out of American Horror Story, the TV show,
Hmm.
yeah,
which is like very kind of
Dark and horror-y.
yeah, dark and horror-y. So
yeah. It's funny. I guess maybe this is a good place to mention this, but I was watching some stuff with David Jaffe, who's kind of the
Developer. Oh, yeah,
co-creator of
creator. Yeah.
the series. And initially, the concept for this game was going to be like Road Trip USA.
Mm.
So it was kind of like playing on, or expanding on Twisted Metal 2, where that was
Right.
kind of like the world, like right where there was like the Eiffel Tower and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But because the game was really not popular, not that popular outside of the US, so they were going to kind of lean into that. But anyway, but Jaffe was really into like the dark media at the time, so
Uh-huh.
then he shifted to Twisted Metal Black, which
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was involved with just Metal 1 and 2, and then 989 Studios, which he wasn't involved in, took over for 3 and 4. And then that was not loved by fans. I don't think he liked it himself. And then, however it wound up being, he wound up being back involved for Twisted Metal Black. So I think
right,
that's why he wanted to make a sequel, essentially, or the next game following Twisted Metal 2, because that was like the last good popular one.
right,
And then, yeah, it's a different game that he made in a sense, but it was successful again.
yes, it was.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I remember in Twisted Metal 1, which we didn't play when it came out. Like our first experience with Twisted Metal was Twisted Metal 2. Twisted Metal 1 I played actually when the PlayStation 1 Mini came out, and for some reason that game's on it, and it's really not good. But it did well enough to warrant a sequel and to intrigue people enough. I just think it's way too clunky and way too difficult to control the cars. But I believe from that YouTube video that you're mentioning that they did have like these like motion pictures as part of like the cutscenes in it, and it's very B movie ish, but it was still pretty cool to see in a PlayStation game. All right,
Yeah, it was cool, or it would be cool, and you know, Twisted Metal Black had kind of half and half. It was kind of like
yeah, it was like
animated, but it's
yeah,
also a lot of like still images.
yeah.
But well, with all voice acting and stuff, and the storytelling, I think was really good.
All right, let's take a quick break. All right, everyone, we are again doing our mid-episode filler Would You Rather question, which we've taken a bit of a hiatus from, but it is back. So today we're talking Twisted Metal Black, and as Pete mentioned in the earlier part of the episode, it initially, from developer and programmer David Jaffe, was supposed to be a game following Twisted Metal 2, specifically in the theme of Roadtrip USA. So there would be locations within the United States. So that game obviously never got made, and Twisted Metal Black was made instead. But we would like to ask the listeners here, if that game had been made, which of these three locations would you most want to see and play a Twisted Metal game in? Yellowstone National Park, Miami Beach in Florida, or Area 51 in Nevada? Let us know your choice on our Instagram and X. That's Bros Boss Battles, BROS Boss Battles. Let us know your thoughts there. You can also check us out on our website, brothersandbossbattles.com, which will route you to wherever you want to go. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will be revealing the answers to that question in 2 weeks when we handle our second of this category of vehicle games in which there is no racing. And I will call it something different every time I mention that category. All right, back to the regular episode. All right, so it's nice to have the mid-episode filler back, but let's get to our discussion on Twisted Metal Black.
So what did you guys think of the boss battles in this game?
They were tough. I mean, there was two.
You
but
said
they
there
were
was
tough.
two, yeah. So yeah, let's talk about the minion fight. I thought it was kind of dumb.
It was annoying.
It was very annoying because
So yeah, so I mean, he has a shield, and you have to destroy each segment of the shield. So there's front, back, right, and left.
and
It
you're
was
almost
tough.
never behind them, so it's
Yeah.
very hard to break
Yeah.
that back shield.
Yeah, I felt like it was a lot of luck involved
Yeah.
to, you know, get him while he's like pulling off a weird maneuver to hit whatever side.
And hope the missile that actually hit the left side was considered the back for some reason.
Yeah. But then even when you do like the gas can
It didn't work,
weapon,
right? It worked because
I
that
don't
was
know.
that was
Like,
the comment I was going to make. It never, whenever I hit him with the gas can, it never said left panel damage or front panel damage.
Well,
So
Maybe because it
once
was it
you
hits
just
from the top.
once you yeah, that's a good point. But once
Mm.
you destroy a panel, then nothing happens. So if you
If you
destroy the
hit
front,
that panel.
if you hit that panel,
Yeah.
but he still has other panels that are
Right.
not destroyed.
Yeah.
So it could have been every time you use the gas can, there was that situation.
Yeah, I don't know.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're hitting him on the top, and that doesn't count as one of the
Yeah,
sides.
yeah. But I'll say once the shield was destroyed, it wasn't that difficult.
Yeah, I mean, he's this big,
Yeah,
huge, hulking vehicle, and it's not like you think that like every power missile is going to take off like one billionth of a percent of his energy, but it's just not that way. Like you can beat it. I beat him with Mr. Grimm, so
Yeah,
like
yeah, me
yeah,
too.
it's possible.
The shield is the hard part of
Yeah.
that fight.
And so that's the mid game boss. And then the final boss to beat the game, Wa-
Warhawk.
Warhawk. Also a little annoying.
Yeah, I didn't love this one either. Mainly because it's some vehicles are just at such a huge disadvantage because you can't use their special basically because it's a helicopter that's in the air.
Yeah. So Axel once unlocked would be pretty bad there, I would think.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
dark
I,
side.
I, well,
Yeah.
I felt it was
That's what I'm
over.
using now.
I felt like it was overcomable to not have the special if you had strong armor.
Yeah,
Then you could
that's
collect a
true.
bunch of missiles and kind of
Yeah.
take
Yeah,
some hits, but shoot him.
Yeah.
But if you were a lightweight and didn't have the and your special ability was useless against them, that was really hard.
But refresh my memory. You had to you had to blow up the tankers, like the oil tankers, to like what,
yeah,
Break
knock
his
off his
shield.
shield?
yeah.
Okay,
The
and then you
shield.
Yeah.
could
Yeah,
shoot him with the missile.
So
But
the
even
tanker
that was
part
annoying
was
because if you weren't facing the right angle where if you were moving, like it was hard to get the missile to actually hit him because he was a little bit above you. So you'd have to, like
yeah.
a straight shot, it would move in that direction. But if you were trying to pull something off while turning or whatever, it was very difficult.
Yeah, it was. I found a lot of times I was just like here, for example, I would activate the shield, shoot a couple of missiles, and then
Yeah.
try to take cover again.
Luckily, the character I beat with Roadkill has a good special for that. It's basically a series of missiles, so
yeah. And they kind of track a little bit too.
yeah. But
Whereas like with Mr. Grimm, his special just goes straight line, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
So like he would have been a nightmare to beat that boss with.
yeah. I didn't get that far with Mr. Grimm.
yeah, I didn't get to the final boss on that either, but it'll be interesting to see.
So yeah, you don't really play the game for the bosses, but they did include them in the game, and
Well, I think
Yeah.
they could have been better.
Yeah,
whole
I think
thing
they
is-
dropped the ball a little bit with those.
Minion is supposedly the winner of last year's tournament, right? I mean, that's his shtick.
Yeah,
And then the Warhawk is they're supposed to be trying to arrest you for
Oh, they're not like a Calypso lackey.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't really-
catch that. But
I didn't catch the reason what Warhawk was either.
kind of going back to like the graphics, if you could call it that, it's not really a graphic problem, but more, I think, a presentation. But what did you think of the look of Calypso as opposed to the prior iterations of Calypso?
It was much different.
Yeah,
He went from like I guess kind of like handsome guy with like long hair to this really ugly bald guy.
yeah,
I didn't really
No,
have a
but
problem
not-
with,
I-
with it in a vacuum, but
Yeah.
again, as a purist, like I kind of wanted him to be the same.
yeah. I mean, I don't know why they would use the same character and not make him look anything alike. Like maybe there was some story element in 3 or 4 that I'm forgetting, and that like there was a reason for it. But I mean,
I don't think they used anything from 3 or 4 to explain
Yeah.
anything in black
Yeah.
or
maybe even 2. I don't like remember, but like yeah, he was like I guess more handsome if you want to use that term. But he almost looked like the personification of a devil. Like he had sort of like didn't he have like that red peeling face at points and just very sinister looking, all very sharp.
Yeah, sharply dressed, right?
features. No, I meant like
Oh.
sharp features, like a pointy chin and a pointy nose, and like
yeah.
I feel like
Just
that kind of gives
style of that game.
yeah. Well, yeah, but this was just like a round-faced bald guy with like a busted eye and like
Yeah,
I, don't
I
know.
didn't have
I
a
just thought
problem
it was
with
a little
it.
weird, but
So this brings up a good topic that I wanted to bring up was kind of how there really is no lore to Twisted Metal. and there's really no continuity. Like there's a few
Well,
things here and there,
that
but
might be a better way to say. I think there's lore to it. But yeah, continuity of into the story might be a better way
no.
to say it.
What kind of lore is there?
Well, I think this whole
The Kane family.
Calypso, what?
The Kane family.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
there is
even
that,
that's a little
but I think
inconsistent
it's
from game to game. But
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, but I don't know. I think Calypso kind of holds it together, and there's some characters that are obviously iconic to it, like Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth is in it, in not only the graphical lead on the covers and everything, but also in every game.
yeah,
But
but even who he was changed. Like
yeah,
I don't think like I think in Black and Beyond he was like a serial killer. I don't think he was that in the prior games. Mr.
Muppet
Grimm,
Candy and another one. Well, Mr.
Mr.
Grimm is also another staple,
Yeah,
and
but
and Axel.
in this game he's like a war veteran, and
That wasn't always his thing. I thought he was always like a
I thought he was like the
PTSD
Grim
kind of.
Reaper.
Oh,
Like
Yeah, yeah.
oh, okay.
You can't.
So they made it more realistic
They have
this
the
game, like
same.
you said.
Yeah, they have the
yeah,
same cars, but they're like, even if they have the same, like the same name, that's
Yeah,
you should
yeah,
consider a
exactly.
different
yeah.
person.
I guess my pushback on the lore thing was because I do feel it's all sort of like they're Calypso's tournaments, and something bad's gonna happen even if you win, kind of a thing. Like he's
But
the
even that
It's not
wasn't
really
true
lore.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not lore, but
all right, fine.
yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
take it
It kind of
back.
seems like they were trying to set up like this would have been like the true like original, and then there would have been sequels off of this game.
Mm,
Like
well,
I felt like they could have did that here,
yeah.
but then they didn't, obviously.
why do you say that? Like, what do you mean
Well, there
that they
is
could?
one story where, I mean, spoiler alert, but where Calypso dies, right? The
Yeah.
one that supposedly his daughter, and then like the feds or some law
No,
enforcement used it to blow him up essentially because it wasn't really his daughter anymore. It was like it had a bomb in her. It was like a
Yeah, but that wasn't not in this game. You're talking about a prior game, right?
oh right, that's the old Calypso.
well, there was one in it. I mean, this game, spoiler alert,
Hmm.
the Sweet Tooth ending, he ends up killing Calypso.
Ah, but that's also yeah. I see what you're saying. Where there's not continuity because I believe it was 3 or 4 where the whole setup of that game was where Sweet Tooth and like his clown minions like usurped this tournament lead
Right. I
from
think that's right. Yeah.
Calypso, and they were the main twisted guy,
Yeah, but we
at the helm.
really because Jaffe and that team didn't do 3 and 4. We really have to separate those two. Like those are just
Yeah,
kind of in name only. But
yeah,
anyway, even if you just go back to two, there's just no lore, and I think that was intentional. But
yeah,
part of me and part of me wishes there was.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish this game
I mean,
continued to be made.
there was like stories where the characters would kind of interact or like overlap with each other.
Yeah, in Black, you mean, right?
Yeah, in Black.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. And I just think that, I mean, obviously, I guess it's hard to have like continuity because, in some kind of canon version of the game, everyone has to die except for
Yeah,
one person.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
right.
you're right.
That's the thing. Is it exactly?
Yeah. I mean, they do like Outlaw is the car is the same from different game, but it's
The drivers are always
the
different.
driver is
Yeah,
a new cop or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
I
they,
think many of them were.
yeah,
I mean, Axel's been the same throughout.
yeah, and his story too is kind of different every time.
Yeah. All right. So,
So
I was gonna say, do you want to talk about favorite and least favorite characters, levels, characters to face?
yeah,
I mean, I really like as far as gameplay is concerned, Roadkill because he is a balanced car, and I'm finding that where I always lean towards heavy armor, that maybe balance is actually in this game a better trait set to have. Because, like I said, I've kind of gone on all spectrums. I've used Mr. Grimm. In my most recent playthrough, my three playthroughs have been Mr. Grimm, Darkside, and Roadkill. So you kind of got the, a lot of armor, no movement, all movement, little armor, and then the balance, the guy in the middle. And
Yeah, it's
and,
fun.
and
Well,
I've enjoyed Roadkill so far.
Yeah, Roadkill is balanced, but I think balanced in the sense that all his attributes
Yeah.
are similar, but I feel like they're all above average.
Mm,
Like I think just looking at kind of the sum of the attributes,
yeah.
he's probably one of the strongest characters.
Mm,
But with that being said, I really didn't love playing him.
mm,
Um, my favorite was probably Outlaw
okay.
and Sweet Tooth. I like a lot.
Oh, Sweet Tooth. If we're gonna go, I'm just gonna jump in. He's my least favorite. Man, like what we were saying before, how it's not like 7-on-1 at once. Sweet Tooth always manages to find me and have his special, like three of his specials, like when
Yeah.
he's in my range.
Someone I really hated playing against was Axel because it always seemed like he had
Yes,
like multiple
or yeah,
specials,
Yeah.
like at least three,
The only thing
and
I
it's just
didn't,
so annoying being knocked up like that for
yeah,
so long.
yeah.
I was gonna say, but the only thing about his special is that it did not do a lot of damage. So like even though I was getting hit by it a lot, I didn't feel
Yeah,
like it was
but then like he
destroying
knocks you
me.
up in the air, and then you're getting hit by everyone else, and you can't control yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I felt the same with Axel.
Who was your favorite, Tom?
I always like the speed characters better. It's probably not the best for this game. I enjoyed playing as Spectre though.
Yeah, I guess
Wow.
the speed characters are kind of like Spectre, Mr. Grimm, and Crazy Eight, I guess. Would you say that be
Yeah,
fair?
what about Shadow? Was
I
Shadow fair?
think it was more balanced.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the interesting thing about this game is it is pretty fast.
Uh-huh.
And actually, in that interview that I was watching and reading about with David Jaffe, he felt like after it was released, it played too fast, and it just didn't give the player time to sort of see how things are developing or what the other car is trying to do and to
Yeah.
try to
Well,
counter that. Like it was
it,
more,
it, well, it was just like I'm getting shot from behind, so let me look to see where it was. Oh, I will 99% of the time always look in the wrong direction first because I'm gonna look right and they're slightly to the left and behind me. That was sort
is
of my
that
experience.
that was your experience?
Yeah.
You know, there was a mini map
Yeah.
to help you.
I know.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to use.
I
So,
found it useful.
all right. So, Tom, you said you're like person you didn't like facing, generally who you liked having. Anyone in particular you didn't like to use? To use, not face.
Yes, that would be Brimstone.
You didn't like his special, essentially, right?
The special was not that bad. It was kind of weird. Like sometimes it felt like it would like track onto the car, and then other times it would just like go off into nowhere. And then like as the so his special is like he shoots like a
Suicide bomber.
suicide bomber, I guess, yeah, um, onto a car. And so like
And then it
if
blows
you
up.
yeah, and then yeah, he straps himself onto the car, the enemy car, and it blows up. But so like if you missed and the guy just went flying off, like weren't able to fire any other weapons until like I guess he went off the map or
Oh
whatever.
wow! Like he blew up. Well, that's another. Or when
Yeah,
like
I
the time,
guess.
like that's the other thing I didn't like. So they have those environmental weapons. So a lot of the stages, I'm not sure if it's everyone, but a lot of the stages had where you pick this up, and if you used it, instead of it being a missile or the gas can, it would trigger an environmental attack from somewhere in the stage. And like one level, there was a blimp, and if you were within the vicinity of the blimp and someone used that, you would get electrocuted. And there were a few others too, as well, throughout. But that whole attack would have to finish before you were able to shoot anything else again. So if you use that and then you quickly got into a scrum with other cars, you were left defenseless or attackless, but you were getting blown up without being able to reciprocate.
Yeah, you gotta be smart about when to use those.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good point, but I found that I was able to use those environmental pickups to my advantage a good
Mm.
amount. It all
Yeah, I
goes to
like
the
those.
strategy. My least favorite characters were Brimstone and Crazy Eight.
Yeah, I mean, like characters like them and like Crazy Eight and stuff, and like I just feel like they were not really good at anything. Like, yeah, they were fast, but they weren't the fastest. Like, they had
Yeah.
decent handling, but they didn't have the best handling. And then their armor stunk, and their specials were, mediocre.
Crazy, you have to get too close to the enemies and like stay close to them for a long time to
Yeah,
use the special.
but then and also like you could charge up one side or front or back of the car, right? To do that electrical attack. Like you could
Special, you mean?
special, yeah.
Yeah.
You could like press up, down, left, or right, or whatever, and then that would increase the power of the special if the opponent car was on the side that you picked. But like I felt like if you didn't do that, the special was way too weak. But it was hard to like correctly position yourself and you know. So anyway,
Yeah, it was
I felt it very hard to use him.
it was very
Crazy.
slippery, the game, and like that I
Yeah.
guess goes to the fastness of it.
Yeah.
And so for those that sort of precision, it was tough.
Yeah.
I
But it
did
is
like,
interesting.
yeah,
Sorry, Hank, just real quick. 'Cause I like even though Mr. Grimm was the fastest but had the or let's say it this way, even though Mr. Grimm had the least armor, I didn't feel like he was the worst character.
yeah, oh yeah, well, yeah. I mean, people will play differently, and obviously, it was him having low armor was meant to be made up in other ways, which
Yeah, it's true. His
I
special
think.
was really
Though
strong.
I will say this, I think the faster low armor characters are, if there is this, they are more of the quote unquote skill characters. I think it's harder to win with them than a highly armored person. Though I have to say I am running into some problems with Darkseid.
Yeah, I think that's true, especially single player. I think in multiplayer, having this faster characters would be more beneficial. Like where you don't have to
Yeah,
kill
yeah,
everyone and you
right.
don't have everyone trying just to kill you.
Yeah, where it's a truer every man for himself
Yeah.
Yeah.
scenario.
I do like Darkseid Special, where it's just because it's a big, like 18-wheeler kind of truck where it just like rams into. I like that, like it like blares the horn too. I think that's pretty cool.
It was a cool idea. Yeah,
It's fun using it. It's like I don't necessarily
yeah,
know how effective it is, and if you miss it, it's a real like
yeah.
ugh, kind of a thing. But
Especially when you're on the rooftops.
yeah, yeah. And then I'll just run through the five unlockable characters. There's Yellow Jacket, Axel, Warthog, Manslaughter, and Minion.
Yeah, and how to unlock those first four million is separate, but those first four are in basically you have to do some secret thing in the level.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I have not done those yet, at least in
Yeah,
this most recent
they're
play.
they're not super obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of them. I've been playing a bunch.
Yeah, I would say that they're not really obvious. That's cool. Back in those days where you
Oh yeah, it was really cool.
like to unlock things, not with your wallet.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. And like this game really is fun to play a lot because the levels are pretty big. You could always improve how you're getting to the next health item or to the next weapon. And eventually you would come across the ways to unlock these other characters.
Yeah, for the most part. The Axel one I think was
Random.
really random, yeah. But
We'll let our listeners figure
yeah.
it out or go online and look for themselves.
So how did you guys feel about some of the levels?
Yeah, well, we talked pretty extensively about the prison level already. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
tough one that you
Yeah.
can't skip, so
Right.
or choose the alternative of. So that's a tough one. It's a cool level, and I like how it has moving parts of it. So it like you start off basically locked up with two other cars, i.e., prison. Then that opens up, and it's a little bit bigger, but there's still
On a boat,
you're
basically.
basically on a boat, right? And then the crane comes and opens the boat, I guess, or
You
draws you near to
docked,
the shore.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And then it opens up even more. So it's really, I mean, like levels. I mean, that's cool. There's a lot going on in some of these levels.
Yeah.
Where you have these timed points of entry, and it's pretty cool.
Did
Um,
anybody ever beat the drive-in movie level?
I never go to that one. I don't
I
think.
beat it the first and only time
Wow.
I
What's the
played. I,
alternative
I
with
was
that
using
one?
the
Snowy roads.
Oh, I use Snowy Road, which is a real
Yeah.
easy one because it's
Yeah,
really
that's
just
one of
like
the
a really
easier ones.
straight road.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the problem. I feel like drive-in movie, because drive-in movie didn't have a single
there's no
charging
repair
healing
station.
station,
Yeah,
repair station. That's what they call it, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
like
And I beat it
they,
with Spectre.
Ooh,
wow, you must have
impressive.
cheated. They did have
No,
more like
took a
health
long time.
pickups, I think,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna ask about that. Do you know like what the spawn rate was for the health
no,
pickups? Because it seemed kind of random at times.
Yeah,
I
I don't know.
I specifically tried to understand
Yeah,
and never figured out
yeah, yeah.
what it was.
Yeah, I mean, just to go back to that prison level, like we talked about the health, I feel like early on in the match, it spawned all the time, like those ones on the ramps right above where you're first trapped. And then later on, I would go back and like they wouldn't be there. So I tried to strategically use the health pickups early on and then the repair stations later in the run.
I wonder if it has something to do with like they only spawn a certain amount of times per life.
Mm,
Like
Yeah,
when you
right.
die, like when you know respawn, then maybe they'll start spawning again or something
hmm
like
Yeah.
that. But I couldn't really make any real sense of it.
I I always would go to the suburbs level. I guess that was the second after you beat the initial level. It's either that or another option. So I would do the suburbs, and then I would always choose. I think the city was the in the third stage was
downtown.
yeah, downtown, right. So that was always that's been my run since I've been replaying. It's the first level you have to play, then suburbs, and then downtown, and then it's Minion, and then it's the prison.
Yeah, it's interesting. So the second and third, or sorry, the first choice, the first two choices. So for the second and the third levels that you play, I would kind of go back and forth. I didn't feel like one was any like very much easier than
Mm.
the other, so I played them a
That was the
lot.
one with this. You could either do the suburbs or the one with
The freeway, the one with Axel,
freeway. Yeah, yeah,
right? The
yeah,
construction yard.
Is that
yeah,
where you unlock him?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
I liked both of those levels.
yeah,
I didn't really dislike any of them other than that drive-through movie one.
yeah. Same.
Like I liked the highway loop one. I thought was fun too.
Oh, that one I never
Yeah,
do. When was that the alternative of?
downtown.
Oh, that was down right. So yeah, I never did that one. I've always done downtown.
Oh, and I guess the rooftops
Oh,
would probably be
yeah.
my other least favorite.
That
Just
one
because
that one you
Yeah,
have to do, right?
yeah.
you'd have to do
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, yeah.
That's the last level
But
before
you're right,
the
right.
final
So
boss.
Tom, just tell us why you don't
Yeah, I
like
mean,
that.
there's a lot of opportunity to fall off of the buildings that you're on to an instant death.
Right.
So,
You can use that to your advantage, but it's almost always a disadvantage.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like I could see playing Dark Side in that level and doing honk, and then you're running right off the edge.
I actually was facing a dark side who killed itself
Huh.
yeah. That happened
using
once
the
or twice
special.
for me too.
So,
Yeah, yeah. And then in every level, we talked about unlocking the characters, but in every level, or maybe just or mostly every level, there's these black cubes, like one in each level, which is in some kind of hard to reach or secret area. And I think basically all of them unlocked an additional level that you could play in the multiplayer mode.
I didn't find a single one of those
Yeah,
in
me
my
neither.
many playthroughs.
I don't think I did either. I got all of them, but after looking online, I don't
Hmm.
think I got a single one naturally.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But did
But
you guys
a
yeah,
couple of them I feel like were
gettable?
gettable, figure outable.
Did you guys do any of the multiplayer this time around? I honestly don't even remember it back in the day playing multiplayer on this, but it's probably you guys more together. Was only two players, or was it four
Yeah,
player?
I want to say it was only two players, and that's why we didn't play it
Mm,
multiplayer.
I'm not sure. So well, first of all, they did have a multiplayer co-op. That's kind of fun if you just
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
want to do that. But the multiplayer, I thought it was four players, but it was only four cars, right? So like when we used to play Twisted Metal 3 and 4,
Oh,
we would
yeah.
play three of us, but then there was maybe five other cars on the map, so it was kind of
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, yeah, maybe you're right. I knew there was something that was made it less fun.
Yeah, yeah. But this game actually did have online.
I saw they added that. I mean,
Yeah,
I never played that, so I can't really speak to it personally, but I did read about that.
yeah, we never played that. Like you needed this the PlayStation 2 online network adapter, and so we never partook in any of that in PlayStation 2. But I mean, that's really cool. The idea of like an online multiplayer Twisted Metal game
Yeah,
sounds like that could be something in 2025 that people would play.
Yes,
I don't
definitely.
know. Yeah, I wonder like I mean people people like us would like it, whatever, people in their 30s and 40s. I wonder like how a game like this would appeal to, teenagers or
I
I
mean, I
don't really
think,
see why it wouldn't.
yeah, I think the game itself would be good. I mean, they may have to tone down the stories a little bit, but if you're gonna make it strictly online multiplayer, like you don't even need stories. This could be like
I'm not
any,
really talking about the story. Like, I
yeah.
don't think that
It
people would be offended. Like, that's not what the point I was trying to make.
Oh,
I was just more like, does
will
this
it be
kind of
fun?
like gameplay loop work for
Yeah.
teenagers nowadays?
but
Or
isn't
like, is
that
this
what?
style of game not what people enjoy
But
anymore?
like they
But
made
isn't
they
that
made a
Fortnite
Mortal
though?
exactly. They
Like,
made Mortal Kombat like
well, no, I'm not talking about that, but like Fortnite and Player Underground, whatever that one's called.
PUBG.
Yeah, but all those games, Smite, which we liked. I mean, it's essentially a loop.
No. But yes, those are all online games.
Yeah.
That's not, I'm not saying that
Thank
they
you.
would be
That's the point
opposed,
of it.
I'm not saying that they would be opposed to the online aspect of it. Actually, quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Like, well,
Well, then what are we
but what is the
explaining?
question?
Yeah. No, not the question. What are you
that
saying?
gameplay, like, is that kind of gameplay something that people would be interested in these
But
days?
how is that different? No, honestly, I'm just asking. I'm
Because
not, I'm
there's no car combat games anymore.
right, but maybe this could be it. Like, but
Well,
what's the
yeah,
difference
but
between that and like, but no, but like Fortnite, you have a bunch of people and you're all trying to kill each other till you're the last person. Why would it, so it's essentially with cars and you have missiles and
well,
stuff
I
and it,
mean, it's more nuanced than that, I think. But
Yeah, I mean it's a different game, but it's still the same general idea. And
I,
you have cars shooting missiles. I don't see why a teenager wouldn't love that.
but like also, I feel it's kind of like, I mean, Super Smash Brothers. Like you play a 7 minute match or a 3 minute match or a 10 minute match, and then you play another one with maybe a different character, and then you play another one. I mean,
Yeah, you have different
yeah,
skins.
yeah, and you probably
yeah,
have to have more characters, maybe sort of like the way Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. And look, we're mentioning Super Smash Brothers. It's not even
Oh
Nintendo we're
wow.
talking about here,
Wow.
but it's um, you know, have every car from Twisted Metal 1 through Black, and that's a whole bunch of them. And then you have a battle royale. It doesn't have to be 100 people. It could or cars. It could be 20. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
it'd be a
So
ton of fun.
so
Like I just really do. I just
there is a sequel to Twisted Metal Black that came out in 2012,
yeah.
which is pretty much called Twisted Metal 2012. And I think they tried to do this.
Online.
Yeah,
That was for
more of
PS3. Yeah. So
more of like an online multiplayer type thing, and I guess it wasn't that successful.
no,
I don't know. We have this game. We
we
didn't.
do. Oh
We have
wow.
this game, but
yeah.
I don't ever remember playing this.
I don't ever remember playing it online. Tom, I don't know if you did.
I feel like I probably did like to get a trophy or something, but
Oh,
I no, yeah, I didn't have much fun with that game. So
so like I feel like understanding the history of that game would be a good thing to understand why a game in 2025 would or wouldn't work.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
But
That could have just been a bad game.
exactly, maybe it
Yeah.
was just a bad game. Yeah,
It's not like, look, if you have online, you can't have 10 cars. I mean, I think that would get old
for sure.
quickly. You would have to sort of make this pretty big, but I don't know. I feel like so many of these games are just, it's not World of Warcraft or something where you have like this big world that's always continuing. You have like these short burst games, even like
Definitely.
Rocket League. It's fine. It's not fighting, but it's you play a 5 minute match of this vehicular
yes, you're just
soccer.
describing online games.
No, but
No, but
I
I
think
agree with you,
what
man.
I took from your
I
comment was that sort of like on a loop. So it's essentially
No,
you're doing.
no, that I just used the phrase that you're unfamiliar with.
Oh,
Don't.
don't take it literally.
Yeah, yeah.
I I just don't see why younger generation of gamers would be opposed
Well, what does
to
it
playing
mean
this
though?
game.
What does
What
that
is
mean then? If I'm not getting it,
It's just like what you're doing in the game. Like, you're
driving around,
like the flow of the gameplay, basically.
collecting
But
weapons,
yeah, I mean, I
like
guess like at first I wasn't really thinking that it would just be a solely online game. I was thinking more like what we played in Twisted Metal Black.
yeah,
Would
I don't think that
people would
works.
but yeah, so that's the point I was making. And then
oh
so
yeah,
then at that point you're saying this is a solely online game. And then it's like, do you have like 15 sweet tooths driving around? Like, so then if you don't do
uh,
that, then you have to limit the number of cars, or you have to have a huge roster so that
yeah. Well,
each player can be playing a different car.
I think that's the key. So I think you would need like 50 cars and maybe have the match be like 20 to 25 people at once, battle royale kind of a thing. You know,
I don't know. Yeah, and yeah, I
but
mean, who
what you
knows? But like, well, why
saying,
can't it just be eight? Like,
Yeah, or 10
or that, I guess, yeah,
or 9.
7.5.
Anyway, so but like they have that series on one of the streaming services,
I
right?
think it's
And
Peacock, yeah.
I think it's doing pretty well.
Mm.
I don't know what the demographic is of the audience, but
Like if they're young or not, yeah.
yeah, but that's something.
Yeah, it is. I just don't. I mean, I guess I can see why the like story-based games aren't working. All right, I just annoyed Tom with not knowing what the loop thing meant that he was talking about, so we'll move on from that. A lot of the features of these characters are their stories, like why they are in the asylum, why they are participating in this tournament, and then ultimately what they get out of it at the end. So, what do you guys have to say about that?
I really like the stories. I think a lot of them, and this made it a little weak, but a lot of them were kind of about revenge. Like somebody wronged the character in some
Mhm.
way, and then they wanted revenge.
Yeah. Yeah, Dark Sides is certainly like that. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So
I wanted to call out one in particular, Axel,
Hmm.
because his is also a story of revenge. And spoiler alert for those who care, but I won't necessarily say specifics. But at the end, he gets his revenge, but kind of comes to the realization that it's not gonna, you know, correct what happened. So I
Hmm.
kind of like that. Whereas a lot of the other ones, again, just to speak more generally, it was just like they get their revenge, and then it's kind of like, ooh, I like to kill, or or something, and it's like more dark. But
Yeah.
Axel's was more relatable in a sense.
Mm. Yeah, I have two giant tires for arms too, so I can relate to him.
he has arms; they're just
I know.
stuck to the tires.
Well, he has parts of his arms. I don't think he has hands anymore.
Actually, that's another thing that's not clear is why he's like that.
I that was addressed in I believe Twisted Metal 2.
It's
Yeah,
His father
completely
like punished him or something.
again, it's completely different
yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
Tom's mad at me today.
Tom, did you like any stories in particular, or dislike any in particular?
I wouldn't say I liked it. I guess Sweet Tooths was kind of cool,
You thought so?
just because it has that twist where he kills Calypso at the end.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
There's always good clips. Was pretty evil, so that's sounds like a good one to me.
But some of them that were like kind of dumb. The preacher one, definitely. Brimstone.
Yeah, his character concept was cool, but the story was a little.
The character,
Yeah.
Not,
it was cool because it was different. Like a lot of
yeah,
them, I mean, some were like Roadkills was cool, but like it's really like a complete like you don't know. Well, his whole thing is he has amnesia, so you really don't know till that last
that
scene
was
that
cool. Yeah,
his was cool, and it kind of like it's twist and then another twist with like who he was going after and then what happened to him once he found him. Like it was just it almost was like anticlimactic, but in a purposeful way.
yeah. The concept was cool.
Yeah.
The amnesia concept.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was one of the ones where Calypso kind of like screwed him over.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I think it was sort of,
Didn't he
I
shoot
mean,
him?
yeah, but it wasn't like a screw over kind of thing. That's what I kind of take from screw over is like some of those corny ones from Twisted Metal 2. It's like the actor guy. It's like, I want everyone to see my face. And then he pulls his face and stretches it over the whole earth. Like, that's Calypso screwing them over. This was like, I don't know. He was the roadkill guy. I forget his like John Doe, I think it is. Was
Yeah.
supposed to like was going undercover to find this big evil criminal, and it wound up being Calypso, which he didn't realize till the end of the tournament, and then Calypso just shoots him. So like I feel like that was not really him screwing him. Or I get what you're saying, but it's like it wasn't one of these like
Yeah, it was
be
he
careful what
screwed
you
him
wish for
over in a
situations.
different,
Yeah,
but it kind of was because he regained his memory or whatever and
yeah. He
realized
found
that
out. Yeah.
Calypso was the criminal. Then he had to kill him.
Right. I guess it's if he had never remembered, Calypso wouldn't have had to do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
The one with Spectre 2 was kind of a
That was
screw over.
stupid.
I think like she technically said that she doesn't want to be alone or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like Calypso basically gives her this guy to marry that doesn't love
Yeah.
her or whatever. So
That whole
yeah,
story was just one of the weaker ones, I thought.
yeah,
I was reading the message boards, and people seem to think, or most people seem to think that the Mr. Grimm story was the most, like the darkest.
Well, I got through half of that where he had to basically cannibalize his own friends because he was like in a torture pit in Vietnam.
Yeah, so this was kind of a similar one to what I was talking about. You don't mind if I spoil it to you? Okay, I won't.
I'm so close with him. Please just let me do it myself.
I mean, surely you can see where the story's going based on the.
He becomes the guy.
No, I don't
Yeah,
agree with Tom
yeah. I
that
mean,
it's so
he puts
obvious.
on his skull. I've seen that part, and that's sort of why he appears the way he does. But
All right, I guess.
I guess I'm dumb.
No, no.
I don't think so.
What's the deal with the crazy driver though? Like, how was he actually driving a
Yeah,
car?
with no eyes. What is he supposed to be?
He was a boxer.
Oh, a
So this
boxer.
one was also a little. He was a boxer, and a surgeon bet on him, and he lost. So like, and then he lost, and he got kind of messed up his face. So the surgeon was going to repair his face, but instead intentionally messed
Okay.
it up.
Ugh.
And yeah, that was kind of a little dumb. Then you could, I won't spoil the ending, but that was kind of
It
the
is
story.
dumb. I get your point, Tom. It's like, how does he see? But also, like, how did Darkseid like eat to stay alive, or the
It's
girl in
true.
the Darkseid
Yeah,
trunk? You know?
Yeah, it's not that kind of game. It
Yeah,
doesn't,
yeah,
everything doesn't have to
yeah.
make sense like
yeah.
that.
You can't think that far. You mean
But
this car with missiles on it driving in a regular street?
but I don't know. I think the stories are, you know, the audience knows by now I'm not one for stories and games, but
Well, but
like they're there for a minute or two, and then you
yeah,
play 4 levels, and then there's
yeah.
another minute or two. Like it's so nice, but
The
like
story, yeah. You don't play this game for the stories, but it's a nice throw in.
yeah, but it's more than throwing. I think they're really cool.
No, but I also feel like, while you don't like stories in games, you do like stories, as I feel like any adult with a functioning or any person with a functioning brain likes stories in some capacity.
Yeah,
But
but then you just read a book. Yeah.
well, no, but we talked about like Twilight Zone on this, and I feel like this is sort of some of these stories are in line with traditional Twilight Zone kind of lessons or twists or stories in that.
Yeah, twists. This is definitely darker than Twilight Zone, I would say. But
Yeah.
yeah, I see where you're going with that.
I don't know that I would really say lessons. I mean, maybe that
Yeah,
that Axel one, but
Like,
and the dark side one too, maybe. But
or, if you go back to the other Twisted Metals, like, don't want a lot of candy. That's your lesson.
be careful what you wish for. Yeah. So, all right. Is that
All
on
right. You
all
want to
on the
give final
stories there?
thoughts?
Well, I had a few other
Oh,
quick.
oh, Peter's tidbit time. Let's go.
Hmm. Okay, this is a true tidbit. The original concept for the Twisted Metal series that was actually came up when Jaffe and co-founder, I guess you call him, I don't know the other person's name. They were sitting in traffic and they were kind of joking that like, oh man, I wish I could launch a missile and clear the road.
Yeah, that's good.
That's
So
relatable.
Yeah,
yeah, I feel like we've all thought that.
we're not
And
psychos.
well, not in a serious
No,
manner,
I
but
know.
originally the game was they called it Battle Cars. I'm glad they changed it.
Cars
Um,
fighting each other.
yeah, with missiles. And also, there was some censorship in this game. So the European version, and I mentioned earlier that the series, the games never really did well in Europe, but all the story were removed from the European version.
In what game? It's just Metal Black?
Twisted Metal Black,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Basically, the rating board or whatever, whatever organization you want to call that, they insisted that they remove the stories. Like they didn't tell them, okay, for these, remove these 10 things or whatever. It was
Wow.
just remove. I don't know. I guess maybe it was just too much to list or just kind of the whole
Yeah.
concept they didn't like. But
Wow.
so that kind of stinks for our European audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's kind of crazy. Like, I feel like the game wouldn't even be.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to like market it
Mm.
Yeah.
as to have no story, you know?
That's just weird. I mean, it's dark, but I mean, like, they have movies there that they're not all like romantic comedies. Like, I don't,
Yeah, I don't know if
it's
maybe
maybe the
the
kids
standard
playing
for
games more. Yeah.
exactly for games is a little
Yeah.
different. But there's also some censorship in the North American version. In the original uh, Preacher story, well, actually, the story didn't really change, but there was a scene that kind of actively showed him drowning the baby that he thought was possessed.
Mm.
So the storyline is still there, but they kind of
They
removed the image
don't show it. Yeah.
of that occurring. Yeah.
Yeah. They,
And then also another thing that's kind of funny is that I guess I don't know if it was Sony, some funding party or whatever, insisted that it was like very obvious that Preacher was not like a real preacher associated with any like organized church or religion. Like he was just some kind of lunatic, I guess, or whatever you want to
yeah.
call. But like, so that was another thing that was like they insisted was very apparent
Well,
in his story.
it goes back to Twisted Metal 1. That's what I was mentioning before. So I think I misspoke. I think they were supposed to have those full motion videos in it.
Yeah, you're
But they
right.
were cut because
Yeah.
not because of the violence, not because of blowing cars up, but because they had bikini clad women in those scenes. And that ultimately led all of those full motion videos to be scrapped from the game. I know much to David Jaffe's chagrin, but uh, interesting tidbit piggybacking on what you're saying about the preacher.
Yeah. And then just one last thing we didn't really this this is probably the least interesting thing, but we didn't really touch on any of the other game modes. So, besides the story mode, there was what they call challenge mode and then endurance mode. I'm kind of forgetting what they are, but I did try them, and one of them was basically like I guess this was endurance mode where it would be a one-on-one battle, and then if you kill that car, another car would come.
See how long you could last, like
Yeah,
a gauntlet
basically.
type of thing. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
then yeah,
I haven't played those much.
yeah, I mean, I don't know who would.
I'd be interested in playing like co-op.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. That's different. Yeah. And then the multiplayer, they had the two-player co-op, then they have a 2 to 4 player deathmatch. So it is 2 to 4 players. And then there's this 2 player last man standing.
Mm. Yeah, that's unfortunate though. The multiplayer doesn't have all the other like a full slate
Yeah.
match.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what we need on online.
Yeah. All right, those are my tidbits.
We have now concluded Peter's tidbit section of Brothers and Boss Battles, a video game showdown. If no one has anything else to add, we should do our final thoughts. Tom, why don't you start us off with final thoughts? Why don't you begin with the final thoughts?
Sure. So, yeah, I mean, we've said a lot of good things about this game. I would recommend it even to this day. It's a fun single player experience. Um, and going into it, I thought it would be repetitive. Because I mean, you're effectively doing the same thing in every level, just using the same weapons to kill the same enemies, just in a different setting. But it didn't really get boring to me. I felt that it was always engaging, and the difficulty was there to make you want to come back for more. It wasn't too hard where it was frustrating, and it wasn't too easy where you just blow through it. So that was cool. And then, yeah, I mean, if you're able to play multiplayer co-op throughout the campaign, that's an extra bonus. But yeah, I mean, I think just for the single player experience, it's a lot of fun. You get it for pretty cheap nowadays on PS4, PS5, so it's somewhat available. But yeah, I recommend it. It's a fun game.
Yeah, and I'll just say, I mean, I agree with all of that. I would definitely recommend it. It holds up really well, I think. Like I'm still having fun playing it in 2025 as I did back in 2001. And I do feel it's not because of nostalgia, or certainly not primarily because of nostalgia, which can be the case with some other games. So it's just a fun game. And you can get through it pretty quickly depending on how skilled you are. I mean, you probably will have to run through some levels multiple times to get familiar with it. But there's 8 stages, 2 of which are bosses. So you kind of can get through it pretty quickly. Choose the control scheme that's best for you. Choose what characters you like. Try to get a feel of which levels you will choose back to back, or when you do have a choice. And it's a fun game, and it's cool to see the those stories. It really does drive me to play, and I think it would drive a lot of people to play. So play them, play the ones we've mentioned, play the stories for the cars that we didn't mention. Try them out. But overall, really, really good game. Holds up well, and I recommend it. All right, Pete, give us your final thoughts.
If a new Twisted Metal game came out tomorrow, I would go out and buy the game and the PS5, which I don't currently have. And that's not hyperbole. And the reason why I feel that strongly is because I thought Twisted Metal Black was such an awesome game. If I ever sat down to rank my favorite games, I feel pretty confident that this would be at least in my top 5, if not higher. So clearly, I really like this game and I would recommend it. But I mean, it's what, $10 on the PS Store or something. If you've never played this, I really can't recommend giving it a try enough. I
That
mean,
enough was important to your overall point there. Otherwise, it would have been like you couldn't recommend it, which clearly wasn't what you were saying. But all right,
I highly, highly recommend it. That's just to be clear.
all right, and with that very hilarious final thought, that was our episode on Twisted Metal Black, the first again of our non-racing vehicle games. Be sure to check us out on Instagram X and YouTube. I won't even say Twitch anymore because we haven't been on in a while. At Bros Boss Battles, that's BROS Boss Battles. Check us out on our website, brothersandbossbattles.com. Like and subscribe so you get the notifications when we release a new episode. Until next time, take care, everyone.